Hello, 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 beautiful people. Dee Sova here. I am a CDL instructor here at Prime Inc. I'm also the Highway Diamonds coordinator for our women drivers, and I'm a certified life coach. And I think I've been forgetting to say that to you guys. I've been in the trucking industry, y'all, since 1991. So I'm old school, been around for a little bit, and I absolutely love the trucking industry. The conversations that I'm going to be having are always going to be about something that can help you to build this trucking career. Predominantly, I'm talking to you ladies because I was a woman who was driving a truck. I did it for 30 years. I've been in the trucking industry that long, and a lot of changes have happened in this industry. So before you just decide to come in and say you want to drive a truck, I feel like there's things that you need to consider. I think one of the last videos I kind of gave you a tour of this particular truck. It's a Freightliner. So I'm going to ask you while I'm talking right now to go and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell, guys, so you can keep up with every time that I post a video so that you can get the notification and give the video a thumbs up. If you know someone who's coming in the trucking industry and they're interested in learning a little bit more, I do try to put my experience out there, but there are a ton of drivers whom you are going to see who have information that are going to help you to make a decision about coming in this industry. So I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about setting goals, and that starts with choosing the trucking company that you're going to be working for. Some of you will go to trucking companies where you train through those companies and you like the company because it's your first one, and there's nothing wrong with that. At some point, you're either going to grow with that company throughout your career, or you're going to keep on growing and you're going to move on because you outgrow that company. But hold on a second, because it's cold here in Missouri. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. And the only person, I'm going to be clear about this, the only person who can decide what company that you go to is you. You have got to have your own experiences, and I will caution you that there's going to be a ton of drivers, and I appreciate everybody's opinion. But one thing I've always learned about in the time that I have been in trucking is to have my own experience. Because while this driver might have a bad experience at that company, guess what? You might be the one who has a better one. Right now, and it's been this way for the last 9, almost 10 years, I have loved, I have loved being at Prime Inc. But just because I love Prime Inc. doesn't mean you need to come here because I told you that I love Prime Inc. It might not be the company for you. You might be better off somewhere else. Werner, KLLM, Snyder, FedEx, UPS. There's tons of trucking companies out there. So the only person who can decide which company is best for you is you. Okay? You got to get out there and you got to have your experience. But here's some things you need to be looking for while you're setting goals on the trucking company. So let's say you train through a company and you don't see yourself staying there long term. If you train through the company and they told you you at least need to work for them for a year to keep from charging you for that training, go ahead and get that experience, because you are going to need it when you leave there and go somewhere else. If you came through a truck driving school and you learned all the things you need to get your CDL, you got your CDL, and now you're searching for the trucking company for your first job because maybe your truck driving school doesn't have a placement coordinator or a placement director to go and help you to find a job. So now you got to get out there on your own. I personally went to a truck driving school. I can't even relate to people who train through companies, even though I work for a company that trains their driver pool. I can't relate to it because I went to a truck driving school that allowed me to go home every single night. And there is a huge difference in that versus coming to a company where you train. So if you go to, in my experience was doing that, going home every night, I was able to find my first job on my own. I didn't wait for the placement director to find me a job. I was confident enough in myself, in my skills, just before I was about to complete my training to go to a company that I wanted to work for my first job, because I knew they were hiring drivers. And I went and spoke for myself. I let them know that I'm in training right now, and would they be willing to hire me right out of training. The reason why I knew that they would is because this was a company that my ex-husband, my first husband, which was my children's father, this was one of the companies he worked for. And I knew if they could hire him, they definitely are hiring me. So I got that job before I even finished the program. Once I finished the program, it was about a month and a half or 2 months later, I was already hired with the company, but they weren't starting their season for another almost 2 months later. So this was an agricultural position. My first job, y'all, was hauling tomatoes. Let me have a drink on that. Hauling tomatoes for a company called Panella Trucking out of Stockton, California. That's where my career started. I used to have to go into these tomato fields with these tomato tub trailers. It was a set of doubles going down into these fields. And I absolutely loved that job. I loved the experience. The drivers, we would all hang out when we get to these fields, or we would go to sleep in our trucks. Trucks were not made like this one right here. You know, these trucks today, you guys are able to create a whole apartment environment in your trucks here. But the trucks that I started, this was like a doghouse area. It had a short stick shift. It was a 10-speed, and all you had was a sleeper. There was no room for a refrigerator or to hang your clothes or to do anything that allowed you to live in your truck. It was a workhorse. So, let's say you are now experienced, you've got your CDL, you went to a truck driving school and they don't have a placement coordinator. What are you looking for in terms of your experience in the trucking company that you're thinking about hiring on at? You got to think about the end result before you even see it, guys. So if you're thinking that you want to come home every night, that's a local job. That local job is usually somewhere in your community where you are either doing some drop and hook, which means you're dropping your trailer at one location, you're picking up another trailer to go get another load somewhere else, or you are bumping docks. Usually those are dry vans, trailers, or they are reefer trailers, and you're going to the customer, you're picking up these loads. If you wanted a day job, okay, that could encompass a lot of things. Hopefully you got all of your endorsements on your CDL when you went through your training program, because the more endorsements you have on your license, the more opportunities that are open up to you in the trucking industry. Now, being fresh out of truck driving school, whether you train through a company or through a training program or a truck driving school, a trade school or a college, or however you acquired your CDL, you want to make sure that you are looking for companies that will meet your needs. Okay, meeting your needs, when I'm talking about that, they have medical, they have dental, they have insurance, they have opportunities for growth. They may also have opportunities. When I say growth, let's say you wanted to build a long-term career with this company, and maybe when you get done with your trucking career driving the truck, there's an opportunity for you to come within the company and play some leadership role or not. You might build an entire fleet. What are you looking for? That's what's going to determine as to whether or not you are going to be the person who, you're going to be the person. I'm talking to somebody, but anyway, you gotta determine what it is that you want. In other words, guys, you gotta be real specific, because if not, you're gonna end up someplace and it's gonna be miserable because you didn't do your homework. You didn't call the company, ask what kind of benefits they have, what kind of opportunities for growth. You didn't go in and plan for an interview or do anything that's going to help you to make a quality decision. A lot of times people rush into companies just because they heard somebody say this and somebody say that. And true enough, you want to hear what drivers are saying about their companies, because that's a great indication as to whether that's a great place to work or not. But once you find the place, are you going to do local driving? Are you going to do regional? You're going to cover a certain territory. Are you going to go over the road and go all 48 states into Canada or Mexico? You need to know these things, because if you just get with a company that's an over-the-road company and you don't know what all they do, and then all of a sudden they want you to go to Canada, but you don't have the credentials to go into Canada, now it becomes a problem. So this is where you're interviewing the company as much as that company is interviewing you. You have a standard. When it comes to the pay, you got to find out what they're paying. Is it hourly? Is it by the mile? Are there bonuses? Are there incentives? Are there health incentives? Are there safety incentives? These are all things that you want to make sure that you are aware of, because once you are aware of these things, it helps you to plan better. Do I want to work for that company? There are some companies that will tell you one thing and then you go and work for them and you find out that they're completely different. And you don't want to be stuck in that kind of situation. So the best thing to do is, when you're looking at these companies, guys, not only are you going to call them, go to their website and see what is being said about the company culture on the website, but also type in the search, what are drivers saying about this company or whatever. Go to YouTube and check out what are the drivers saying about that particular company. What are the negatives and what are the positives? Type that in the search and see what videos come up after you've spoken to the company, you've checked out the website to see the company culture. Now you're going to investigate what the drivers are saying. So do yourself that favor, ladies, because, and another thing you want to find out is, and this has been a huge topic since our new president, just before he came into office, do they have a diversity and inclusion program? You might want that. And the company that you're looking to come into doesn't offer that for you. What are you going to do? Are you going to leave there and you're going to start looking for something else? Whatever you do, ladies, I at least want you to be at a company between 1 to 2 years. 2 years, you are going to make yourself positioned to be somebody that the next trucking company is going to look at. In that 2 years, you should develop better driving skills, better backing skills. You also should be able to I don't know, navigate your area if you're local, or you've had some time navigating the country if you're regional or over the road. And so you've developed these skill sets. You've learned how to deal with customers. You've learned that there's a waiting game depending on what type of trucking that you do, whether it's flatbed, tanker, dry van, or reefer, or step deck, whatever type of trucking that you do. You have developed skills. You've learned how to do so many things that you're going to be able to take as an asset to the next company. And, the next company will be different, but they'll also be able to train you on more. You're going to learn their way. And it's always scary every time you go to the next company, because you are trying to figure out if these are your people. And then the same thing that you do when you go to the next company, if you don't decide to stay with that first one, you're going to do your homework on that next company as well. You want to make sure that you get something out of it as well as the company. You guys are there to serve each other. If that company doesn't allow you to express yourself, they're not taking consideration for you as a woman, which I'm going to talk about this next thing. Women have periods. Women go through menopause. When family deaths occur, we get emotional and it affects our job. And so you want to make sure that the company that you work for has the ability to recognize some of those differences between you and the male drivers in your company. I have worked for companies that absolutely, I won't say they mistreated me, but they didn't make me feel as valued as some of the male counterparts that I worked with, simply because they did not want to recognize that that monthly thing is a real issue. So part of your interview process, and I know this feels uncomfortable, but you need to kind of tell these companies, what it's like for you. And you can be real soft with how you approach this topic, but you need to tell them what it's like for you when you are on that time of the month. Do you have extreme cramps, or are you a person who just needs a day or two down? Because towards the end of my career, guys, I was driving anyways. I was going through menopause and I didn't know that I was going through menopause. And I will tell you, towards the end, that was probably the most difficult process I have ever had. And I'm not over menopause. I have those night sweats and all those things. But the older I got, the heavier that experience was, and it affected me out on the road. Good thing is that I had this conversation with my fleet manager, and I was able to let him know that this is what happens to me during that time. And I literally got to take those first 2 days just parked in the truck. And that way I'm parked at a truck stop, or I park the truck and drop the trailer at a customer location, and I get to go bobtail to a hotel where I can, be able to take care of myself a little bit easier, because it was just such a challenge for me. Do not be afraid to express to your current employer some of the challenges that you have, because it helps them to help you so that you both win. All right. So we're thinking about choosing a company, and you need to be able to make a quality decision for yourself. And you may make the wrong choice. Let's say you do. You could still take the experience you had from that first company and transfer it on over. You might have gotten to this second company and realized they are not the ones for you, right? If that's the case, it is okay. You're not going to lose any sleep. There's so many companies out there that are looking for quality drivers, and here you come with your resume. Just when you start looking, don't just settle on one place because you heard it was a good place. Put yourself out there in all kinds of places, because you're just trying to get experience at this point, right? You're looking for your trucking family. You may or may not find it. Maybe you want to expand from being a company driver after the first year or two, and you want to go buy your own truck. If that's the case, make sure you're doing the same type of interview process when it comes to shopping for a truck. Buying it used, or are you buying it new? And that's a whole nother video. I just wanted to cover some very, very basics. And please, whatever you do, guys, start a YouTube channel documenting your experience. I came into trucking back in 1991, and we didn't have the sophistication of having a channel for you to go to. We didn't have the phones that you guys have. These platforms are free. People need to hear the real truth without you worrying about how cute you are, and just really just breaking down this whole process. What was it like picking and choosing a training program or a truck driving school or a college? What was it like once you went through the program, you got your CDL, and now you started your first job? Do you like that job? What are the things that you've learned about yourself since coming through the job? And how has it benefited you financially? You went from doing this career to now you're in trucking. Tell us a little bit about the difference. You need to start that YouTube channel, guys. The world that we know today is changing. And while we are still able to tell our real stories, you need to be doing that. Your journey might be the very thing that helps somebody else. Now, if trucking ain't it and there's no money in it for you based on how you earn, tell that too. The bottom line is, YouTube is looking for people to talk about their work, to share their experiences, raw and uncut. It doesn't mean sit around on YouTube and cuss and talk negatively about your experiences. Just share. What I'm doing right now is I am just sharing. There are several of my friends who are on YouTube right now, and they know how to share. They know how to tell a story. They know how to tell their story because it was theirs. And you can do the absolute same. Just be honest about what you're talking about. Don't be afraid to be truthful. You are the only person who can control the flow of your life. And guys, we got to start taking responsibility for where we want our career to go. Don't just walk into this thing blind, or you're going to dislike it. This is not for everybody, and it's certainly not for the weak. But those of you who feel like this is a calling for you, this is the avenue you want to take, it will give you a chance to step away from friends and family and see how strong you are. It will also show you that you can live anywhere. You're going to learn a number of skills to help you to grow and to become way more than what you are. So don't just look at it as I'm getting in a truck to drive and be cute. I am out here to learn. Every experience in your life ought to be a learning opportunity. All right. So hopefully that helped you guys with picking trucking companies. I'm sure there are other videos out there that will help you. There are other drivers who are capable of telling you even more than what I've shared. If there's something particular that you want to hear from me, please leave it in the comments. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you can get notified of every video that I put out, guys. And I will talk to you another time. Thanks so much for watching my channel. Do hit the subscribe button as well. Bye.